Okay, so to start out, have you guys heard of this Palworld game? You guys heard of Palworld? I don't think it looks that great. I don't think it's a game that's going to last personally, but that's, I've thought that since the beginning, since seeing the first trailer. I'm pretty sure if you could go back and watch the stream where we first saw it, I'm pretty sure I probably said the same thing. It's popping off right now in the streamer world. It's pretty high, if I'm not mistaken, first or second place, and Steam with concurrent players, but that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. It can fall off very quickly, which I think it will. All right, well, let's see what's going on. Apparently, there's some Pal World drama going on. Charlie popped up on my YouTube feed, and I was like, "Uh-oh, Moist Critical did a thing. Let's see what that's about." So let's see. Let's switch over here. Boop. And let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with Pal World. Why there's drama around this game? Because I don't think there should be reason for a drama. I just don't think it looks very good. It looks like a very hacky game to me, but we'll see. Let's see what's going on.
Unfortunately, the fun police have arrived at my door,
Uh-oh.
sirens blaring, and they're demanding that I give a statement defending my crime of enjoying Palworld. Palworld is a game that's become more popular than Stanley Cups right now, with an absolute explosion onto the scene, selling over 7 million copies in less than a week and reaching a concurrent player count.
Have a great night, YOLO. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Million, which is the second highest peak Steam has ever seen, second only to PUBG, which is
Okay,
a game
yeah,
that
so
was
it's number
so
2.
popular that it was basically bigger than the Bible for a while. And another thing that really helped with this is the price point. Palworld is under.
See, that's a thing too. That see exactly like he mentions PUBG right there. PUBG is another game that fell off. When PUBG came out, that's when I'd first that was the first time I ever tried to start streaming or whatever. One of my oldest clips is actually me streaming PUBG. Fortnite had been out for months. I know because I had it since day one. A community member who's been around since when I first started streaming. When I first tried to start streaming before stopping for many years. But a friend in the community gifted it to me. I've had Fortnite since day one, and PUBG was so big it forced Epic to make the battle royale that everybody thinks of when anybody mentions Fortnite. Now that's how big PUBG was. That's one of the reasons I think. Well, that's why I think this popularity on Steam doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot.
For a while. And another thing that really helped with
Must
this
be good
is
if
the
it's more
price point.
popular than Stanley
Palworld is
Cups.
under
Facts,
$30.
facts.
Meanwhile, every Pokemon game, even the older ones like Sword and Shield and Let's Go Pikachu, are still $60. And yet Palworld offers 20 times the amount of content and 20 times the fun of these modern Game Freak Pokemon games.
Well, that's because it's Nintendo. Nintendo's notoriously bad about their fucking pricing on games, and they never go down in price, which is fucking insane. I saw a sale, I want to say, for, was it Mario Kart? I think it was Mario Kart 8. Kart 8 on Switch, which is actually a Wii game that included the DLC from the Wii, ported to the Switch, which is several years old, and it was on sale for $58. It was on sale for $58. Like, bro, $2 off is crazy. What the fuck are you talking
it's a better
about?
Deal, Palworld. It's
Yeah, but
extremely
what's the drama,
rare for me to
Charlie?
get as
I want to see what's
invested in
going
a
on.
game as I have with Palworld. The game is surprisingly deep. It's more of a survival game that has a Pokemon element to it for creature catching.
Oh, well then,
Access,
I would
it's
never like this game
expectedly
then.
buggy and glitches out the
If it's a
wazoo
survival
with so
game.
many flaws and so
There are
many
very
problems,
few survival
but
games
it
that I
has so
enjoy.
many elements in it that are done well enough and haven't really been blended together successfully in the past that it
Save the
feels
World being one of
unique
the
and
few.
really fun. The thing it gets compared to most besides Pokemon is Ark, and Ark is a game that
Ooh,
I found
I definitely
so
wouldn't
boring
like
that it
that
would probably
then.
cure anyone's insomnia if they were exposed to it for more than
I
15
do not like
minutes.
Ark.
It's also not because I find it to be really surprising that this is where we're at right now and in the beginning of 2024 that we're mad at bootleg Pokemon here for doing what Game Freak refuses to do, innovate. So I've been very vocal about my distaste for Game Freak's work over the last decade and some change. I think Game Freak is the laziest developers in the world. They get the task once every couple years to go in and copy and paste their last Pokemon game with no real effort, and somehow they still fuck it up every time. The modern Pokemon games have been the same formula. They haven't.
All right, that's a bad take. Porting, first of all, porting isn't copy and paste. Second of all, like the games aren't just ported over; they're like rebuilt and retooled. Sure, they don't have like they haven't updated many of the mechanics or anything like that. That much is true. But to call some of the remakes just copy paste is reductive, in my opinion.
Haven't changed anything when they've tried with
And
like
it's a thing that a lot of gamers do and say. Like gamers in general seem to think game development is one of the easiest things in the world, which it most certainly is not.
Arceus. They didn't really go full hog wild with it. They dipped their toes into a couple of ideas and then fucking fell flat on it with mediocre execution.
Okay, this is an 18-minute video, and if this is the drama, then I could have seen this from a mile away. I mean, this isn't really drama. This is pumping out content. Is what it seems like. This is pumping out content. Because this isn't real drama. Like people saying that it's a Pokemon clone, a Pokemon ripoff, it absolutely is. I mean, that's what it is. That Game Freak is the laziest developer out there and basically copy pastes every game. I don't agree with the copy paste thing. Lazy, yeah, I can see that. They definitely haven't done anything innovative with Pokemon in a very long time, that's for sure. I'm a Pokemon enjoyer, but the last Pokemon game I played was Legends Arceus. I'm trying to think if there's another one since then. No, Legends Arceus was the last one I played. I didn't play Scarlet and Violet. I heard Scarlet and Violet was very buggy.
And these two don't look even
No.
remotely similar. They just take the concept of an emperor
That's a Empa not I'm Empoleon. Yeah, Empoleon I think is his name, right? Yeah, Empoleon.
penguin.
Yeah, that
and do
doesn't look
something
anything like
silly with it in
Empoleon.
different ways. This tweet sums it up nicely by saying that this actually showcases Palworld putting effort into changing a design concept around and making it their own. So it is a legitimate criticism to dislike how derivative some of the designs are and how it clearly borrows
Yeah.
maybe too closely to quite a few of them.
That's
But
exactly what I was
it
just
got out
saying.
of
It's a
control with
legitimate
people just saying that
criticism.
for
It
every
is
pal in the
it is
game, when it's
literally
just absolutely
aping
not the
everything
case.
from Pokemon.
This is
Straight
a
up.
legitimate criticism that I think is totally reasonable to have and hold against Palworld. I too would like if their designs were a little bit more unique, for sure. That is one of my complaints about the game. Does it ruin my enjoyment of it? Absolutely not. It definitely doesn't.
Shouldn't.
Is
I
it a
mean,
bit of a blemish on it? For sure.
from
But
jump,
now let's get
everybody
into
knew
the ones
that.
that I think have absolutely no merit whatsoever.
Okay, let's see.
One of the
Let's
major
see.
things
Thank you.
people were
Let's
saying
get into
day
something.
one with Palworld is that it's just an asset flip. This was a perspective shared by many that decided not to turn their brain on for the day, and they went viral with people pumping their fists like, yeah, it is an asset flip. This was a big one saying that it was creatively bankrupt and poorly put together asset flip of a game. This was another one saying that 10 years ago, an asset flip game like this would have been relentlessly ridiculed and also called it generative AI slop. We'll get into all the AI can of worms here in just a minute, but let's start with this asset flip component. Now, in the first tweet, calling it
Pokemon
creatively
stopped
bankrupt,
being based
that's
on animals
totally
a
fine to
long
say
time
that. Like
ago,
I said,
my
there are a lot
guy.
of designs that are very clearly borrowed from Pokemon.
There's
But
literally
overall,
a
the
trash
product is
Pokemon.
not
There's a
creatively
candelabra
bankrupt. I haven't
Pokemon.
seen
He's
a
literally just
Pokemon
a candle
Mechanic-style
holder.
game that has survival elements that are blended together pretty well with a really large world with quite a lot
But I
to
mean,
do in it.
to be fair
Granted, a
to
lot of times,
Pokemon,
a
the
lot of
designs are
the
pretty creative.
biomes of the world are super
Well,
barren
they're
and empty.
relatively creative
But overall,
for
I'd say
having
that I
over
haven't really seen
1,000
any other games
Pokemon.
like
There
Palworld,
are
so
over
I definitely
1,000
wouldn't call it creatively
Pokemon, which is
bankrupt,
pretty
but
crazy.
maybe he's playing some real heaters behind the scenes that aren't released yet. But anyway, calling it an asset flip, I think is some absolute smooth brain nonsense. Either you don't know what an asset flip
Okay,
the game is composed of that
this is really just coming off as this is giving people don't like the game that I enjoy. And that's not fun.
leave this for Palworld, Dark and Darker. Dark and Darker is another game that I absolutely love, and this was a video game industry darling for a little while, and Dark and Darker is almost entirely composed of Unreal Engine assets that they bought and put into their game. They openly state that much of the 3D graphics assets were purchased from the Unreal Marketplace, and there are tons of links to them in the store that they used in their game. It's a
Yeah, isn't Palworld using a whole lot of Unreal assets?
ton
That's what I thought.
of assets they used in it.
Not that there's anything
Significantly more than
against that.
Palworld.
Like, I have anything
Why
against
did
that.
I not hear a whole bunch of
Okay, so
hoopla
yeah,
about Dark
Palworld
and
does
Darker
that.
being
Yeah, duh.
assets?
This is all
Forward.
duh.
It's about how this AI claim is right now
Are currently based on Vibes, a social deduction game, and the CEO's past tweets about machine generated Fakeamon. What?
now just based off of hunches.
I'll never be
There's a
mad
ton
at
of
a game
people
that
playing
competes with a
Super
billion-dollar
Sleuth right now
corporation and it's
investigating
good.
whether or not AI was used, and at the moment there's no
I mean, it being
substantiated
good
evidence
is
to back
subjective,
up any
I
claims that
guess.
AI was
There's
used
nothing
in this.
about Palworld
So
that
if it does come out
gets
that
me
Palworld used
personally,
AI in a big capacity during its development, obviously
but I'm also
that's
not
going to
hating on
change how I
anybody
feel
who
about the
likes
game
it. I mean, it just
100%.
seems
But right
very
now,
derivative,
again,
and that's
there
what
is
it
no
is.
proof of AI being used here, and yet some people are
It's
singing it like it's
Pokemon
the gospel
derivative.
and 100%
And I'm also not
confirmed and
like
true
a Game
based
Freak
off
dick
nothing,
writer by any
which is
stretch of the
basically Twitter in a
imagination.
nutshell, to be honest. Now let's get to one that I actually found to be the most interesting at the time. There was a Twitter thread that came out talking about how the models are exactly the same in Palworld to some of the Pokemon counterparts, basically insinuating that they kind of just took the
Oh,
models
that's not true.
and tweaked them slightly, but kept everything else intact.
Oh, okay. I literally just said that's not true, but this is a Pokemon, a slightly changed Pokemon. This is Serpent. Oh, fuck. I forget the name of this Pokemon, but this definitely looks like just a straight up Pokemon, slightly tweaked.
That they copied the models and made exact replicas, which would be a big deal if they took that and copied it for their game. That would probably open them up to a huge lawsuit from Nintendo, because that is literally just stealing their work.
Apparently,
But
it doesn't
then
work.
This morning, it turned.
Apparently, it doesn't work that well on Xbox and the Microsoft Store. The Steam version apparently performs better than the Xbox version, evidently.
Turns out that the person that was posting all the
And I
threads
just
going
just
over,
read
like,
about
how the
that
models
before
are the
going
exact same
live.
meshes
Like
and
before I got in the
everything,
shower,
was
I
a
saw something
bunch
from
of
IGN
hooey.
about it.
It was a load of dirty barnacles. It turns out they were actually doing like some dubious scaling in order to make them fit, so it wasn't exact meshes or copies or anything like that.
This is Luxio, right? This is one of my favorite Pokemon that I usually try and use on my team. Not Luxio. It's not Luxray. Luxray is the final evolution of this Pokemon.
And they even openly admitted that they feel regretful for calling it exact and this and that. And then they posted a pin tweet saying this: "I am doing this because I think it's disgusting how much Palworld glorifies animal abuse."
What?
What in incarnation? What the hell is even...
Fucking what? Bro, gamers were a mistake. Gamers need to be wiped off the planet. Like straight up. Like just fuck it. Just hit the reset button. It's over. It's done. That's easy. Twitter was a mistake too. This is easily the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. However, I did hear that evidently you can catch people in the game and make them work for you, which is just slavery. That's just slavery with extra steps.
than that? Someone also pointed out that Pokemon...
Yeah, I was literally just about to say this. I paused to say this before without reading this. Pokemon is literally just dogfighting. It's literally dogfighting. Like, and I've known that since the beginning. Well, maybe not like as a child, but as I've grown up, you know, because I've been with Pokemon since the beginning. Like, fuck it, it's just dogfighting. It's literally just sanitized dogfighting. I would have said dogfighting instead of cockfighting, but same thing.
Is literally sanitized cockfighting, which it is. I mean, you're making the animals fight each other, and they respond saying, "I think that's bad too." So then, where is this energy for Pokemon? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't compute. I can't tell if they're
Okay,
just...
so all of this drama is just idiots on Twitter. I thought there was like real drama, is what I thought. Superior. Yeah. See, this is that Pokemon. That other one they showed earlier. I mean, come on. Don't tell me that is not like a near identical Pokemon that the Palworld thing is. I mean, it's pretty clear. Oh my god, is there really already furry art? Of course there is. Never mind. Anyways, come on. Don't tell me that other pal or whatever doesn't look like that, because that's an insane thing to say. I mean, it's whatever. Like, I'm not hating on Palworld for it. I mean, it's just very obvious. Nope, nothing alike. Okay.
Palworld, the Pokemon, but the general shape remains mostly the same, and some of the locations of certain appendages on other models is similar to the Pokemon one or in the same location. And Gogo explains how
That'd be
this
for the
helps
judge
with
and jury to
animation
decide.
if you're looking to take an animation and bring it over to, and in fact even mentions that Nintendo could easily sue, and they'd already have all of the
No, that
evidence.
would be
They probably
stupid.
would have already sued if this
That's
was the case.
whack.
If Palworld developers were
Palworld
just taking
shouldn't
their
be
models
sued
and
by
porting the
Nintendo.
animation
That's
over or
dumb.
something, Nintendo would have likely already taken action because the evidence is just right there at your fingertips. It's pretty quick to access. Just stating that the shapes are important, even if it's not like exact one-to-one meshes.
Okay, so yeah, what he's saying here is that there's an industry veteran who was comparing the two, and he's saying, yeah, this stuff does matter. That's what I was just saying. Yeah,
like the exact same order and same placement.
like it's not the exact same, but it's very obviously
of course, I'm not
very
in the
obvious that
industry,
they
so
just
I don't
tweaked
know, but still pretty interesting
superior.
nonetheless. And another thing Gogo mentions that I want to mention is that a lot of people have brought up the fact that a lot of Pokemon are based on real world animals, and thus a lot of the pals in Palworld are based on animals. There's only so
That's not
many
a good argument,
ways
though.
of conveying a snake or a lamb or a stingray. Like, the shapes there are going to be pretty closely resembling each other, I imagine, because at its core, it's still this real-life animal that we know. So, like, a snake is going to look cylindrical and long across, right? So that could be an explanation for it, but since it is still so close, it does just have that level of speculation to it.
That's
Though I
not
do
why.
think that argument could also
There's
work
no
for
shot
shooters as well. So, like, there's only so many ways of conveying a certain gun, right? So I bet if you broke...
That's copium. That's copium. This is people defending their game. That's all it is. It's just as dumb as what's it called? As console war BS. That's all dumb. All right, well, I'm not going to spend the time to go back and look for it. That's copium. That's copium. People are defending the thing that they like. Like, just enjoy your thing and stop bitching about it online.
You probably find the meshes look pretty
similar. My mindset is, like, if you enjoy it so much, maybe you should be playing it instead of bitching about it online.
I'm not knowledgeable enough on this area to really speak on it.
Fine. It's fine, guys.
I'm just giving my perspective on it. I do agree that there's only so many ways of conveying, like, a snake and shit, but it's really odd how there are very similar elements shared in the mesh to Pokemon counterparts that aren't normally there on a snake. But anyway, there's still no concrete proof that Palworld developers took these meshes and are just copy and pasting this shit behind the scenes. So these were all the main controversial talking points used to shit on Palworld and say that we shouldn't be encouraging it. This game doesn't deserve its success, this and that. And I understand, like, some people being put off by it being too derivative. That's understandable. But a lot of the other things, like
it's AI, derivative as fuck.
No proof of it
1000%
being used in Palworld, and
all of these other arguments are stupid
for why Palworld's the ultimate evil. Shit like that, I just think is reaching for controversy or calling it like an asset flip. There's plenty of things to not like about the game. As I said, it's so far from perfect, but it's still super fun and significantly better than anything Game Freak has put out in a long time.
Exactly.
So I personally am not.
These are people who have too much time on their fucking hands, and they're out here bitching about the most mundane things, and it's ridiculous.
Going to be updating this.
I mean, Charlie's basically reiterated everything I've thought about this game. It's derivative as fuck. It's using Unreal assets that they bought that they didn't actually make. They kind of just chunked them into the game, and, like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Who cares? They're also obviously redesigning Pokemon that were already in Pokemon. It's fine. Who cares? Like, if people are enjoying it, fine, enjoy your game. Like, I don't care. Like, this game was never even a blip on my, it was at the very least just a blip on my radar. I saw the trailer when it first came out, and I was just like, yeah, that's just Pokemon with guns. That's gonna be like whack or whatever. And I never gave it a second thought. Then I remember seeing people talk about, oh, it's coming out like in a couple weeks, and I was like, oh yeah, that game, and just nothing. I've got no smoke for this game. I've got nothing for it. Like, I still think it's gonna fall off in the next couple of weeks. Like, it's very popular right now on Steam, but like I was saying earlier, so was PUBG, and PUBG, nobody talks about fucking PUBG anymore either. PUBG was a flash in the pan. I feel like this is gonna be a flash in the pan as well.
Game. They just released a
It's not going to have the staying power of something like Fortnite, you know, for instance.
App already, and it's been less than a week, so they're already looking to keep updating the game and improving it. So I'm excited to see where it'll be by the end of the year if they keep up that energy, because I do think there's so much potential here, and it is showing that there is a lot of potential, a lot of juice left here in the Pokemon idea, the concept of creature catching, monster taming. But yeah, anyway, that's my full thoughts on the whole Palworld drama. That's about it. See ya.
Okay, that wasn't nearly as interesting as I thought it was going to be. That's fine though. It's no big deal. Love your thing. Have fun.